Well, good morning. Welcome to lesson 36 of A Course in Miracles using the White Edition. My Holiness envelops everything I see, and this is usually about the place where most people who are trying to do these lessons sort of give up, or life gets too busy or something happens. And I started the lessons, but I never got past lesson 35 or whatever. And the excuses that people often tell me, I didn't get that far in the lessons, etc. The excuses are not the real reason that you didn't get that far, right? The ego in you, that voice that speaks for the separation, which is a pre-programmed dialect, is programmed to omit and to exclude anything that speaks for your holiness. So whilst you can say and joke to yourself, my thoughts are insane and my thoughts don't mean anything and all of these things, and I must be going crazy. When you get to the lessons that say, I am holy, and not having that, no, those lessons, and the mind manifests, let's get really busy so we don't have to do these lessons, right? You will manifest a freaking heart attack or a bloody anything, a life crisis, to not realize your true self. Right? This is where the importance of connecting with the Holy Spirit comes in, so that you have a strength beyond yourself, or which includes you in it, which will help you to get through this particular section of the book and your experience. Right, so one of the things that I always tell people, and usually students who are more advanced, is that the ego would rather have you throw yourself off a cliff, kill yourself, so you manifest another body later and come back to do this again, than to have you realize God. Because once you realize God, once you experience true self, you're out of the loop. Right? The great reversal is an active thing in you. It's not that it's not active now, but your ability to participate and communicate within it is something that is entirely limited, and it seems as if you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back most of the time, which is the situation of anyone in the world. It's like, I'm trying to get here, and I seem to be going this long way around. So don't be surprised when you get to the mid-30s lessons, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I can't do this, my kids, my job, my whatever. It's like, no, my mind. Right? Don't let yourself off the hook. You're learning to bring about within yourself and within your world a particular situation wherein holiness does envelop everything you see, including your relationships, wherein it no longer pushes your buttons and pulls your triggers, the world, yourself, intrapersonal and extrapersonally. And your ego is determined to stop you once it catches on to what you're trying to do. It's like, hang on a minute, I'm your guide, and there's no way I'm going to let you listen to another voice. But it's inevitable, right? You cannot not awaken, because you did, and because it is God's will, and God's will is done already, right? And I love these lessons, because these lessons are the start of the ones that really mention God a lot. There's different sort of sections in this book. There's bits that sort of talk about things in a more universal sense. There's bits that really give you that Christian sort of dialect and everything, mentioning God and the Holy Spirit and everything, all that sort of stuff. So if you have conditioning to those words and phrases and the use of those terms, then it'll certainly bring up a lot of stuff for you in this. And it's not about the words, it's about the relationship that it refers to. Remember, we chose to come on the physical experience because we did this to God. Fuck you, God, I'm taking my free will and I'm going to, the prodigal son. I tried to take God's place and be my own creative. Look what I've done with it. Now I need 365 lessons just so I can go back and go, that was a dumb idea. Right, you're not guilty, you're just mistaken. You've got to learn to laugh at yourself. So today, my holiness envelops everything I see. Today's idea extends the idea for yesterday, which was, but my mind is part of God's, I'm very holy. Extends the idea for yesterday from the perceiver to the perceived. You are holy because your mind is part of God's. And because you are holy, your sight must be holy as well. Sinless means without sin. You cannot be without sin a little. You are sinless or not. Right? And you'll see that in your relationships. Are they perfectly peaceful or not? Is there something that you're just still trying to understand, something that's niggling away at you or not? Right? And remember, sin is an Aramaic word. I love this little bit from one of my old teachers, Charles Anderson. But sin is an Aramaic word that means to miss the mark. It refers to something that they talk about in archery. When you're shooting arrows, you missed. Sin. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or anything. It just means that you're a bit off, So, you are sinless or not. If your mind is part of God's, you must be sinless, or a part of his mind would be sinful. Your sight is related to His Holiness, not to your ego, and therefore not to your body. 4 3 to 5 minute practice periods are required for today. Try to distribute them fairly evenly and make the shorter applications frequently to protect your protection throughout the day. Try to distribute them fairly evenly and make the shorter applications frequently to protect your protection throughout the day. The longer practice period should take this form. First, close your eyes and repeat the idea for today several times slowly. My holiness envelops everything I see. Then open your eyes and look quite slowly about you, applying the idea specifically to whatever you note in your casual survey. Say, for example, my holiness envelops that rug. My holiness envelops that wall. My holiness envelops these fingers. My holiness envelops that chair. My holiness envelops that body. My holiness envelops this pen. Several times during these practice periods, close your eyes and repeat the idea to yourself. Then open your eyes and continue as before. My holiness envelops that rug. My holiness envelops my inner thinking. My holiness envelops that wall, etc. For the shorter exercise periods, close your eyes and repeat the idea. Look about you as you repeat it again and conclude with one more repetition with your eyes closed. All applications should, of course, be made quite slowly and as effortlessly and unhurriedly as possible. All right, now you're probably going to want to read through those instructions again and just get them straight in your mind, because there's the repeating of the idea, the opening eyes, close eyes, opening eyes, and saying the idea again and all of that. So my holiness envelops everything I see, and what we're attempting to do is to bring about the revealing of the altruistic nature, where everything is one with God in our individual perception, and then to carry that as a what would you call as a signal or a light for a collective experience, a collective understanding. So it's all about relationships. Everything is about relationships. You're turning your relationships that are sinful or your crap archery relationships to ones that reflect the love of God, wherein peace and understanding and the recognition that we're in this together, this learning thing together, are the mainstay of our principles of tolerance and patience and all of these sorts of things. Yeah, so enjoy today's lesson. It's a beautiful lesson. And tomorrow we'll be doing My Holiness Blesses the World. All you blessers. Love you, and see you tomorrow. Peace.